Right, sports fans, another cycling video. Well, I've brought you to Flamborough. And I thought I'd do my intro, yeah, to the video because, you know, well, have a look. So I'm going to take you in that cave. I'm going to take you on the old ocean. I know, well, I'm a fucking extreme sports fanatic now, aren't I? So, you know, how I look rad and all that shit. Strap you to the chest, I'm going to take you in them caves and then we'll get a bike. So, here we go, because I'm feeling seasick. Right, that guy there, that's Whitewater Dave. He's a professional kayaking expert. As you can see, lunatic. And as you're going to see in a minute, sports fans, well, this is sketchy, to say the least. We've got an offshore wind. Apparently, that's what that is. The tide is going out, and there's a metre swell. And we're in sea kayaks. Apparently, that's what they are. They're just toys. Anyway, Whitewater Dave is leading the way. And prepare yourself for some music while I paddle us back to a bike. Fucking hell. Don't go in there. Right, let's go then, Whitewater Dave. As you can see, sports fans, this is lunacy. And if I make it back to shore, we will be on a bike. We can take that onto the waves. You want a big break aside and we are fucking. Right, sports fans, well, we're at Flamborough North Landing, if you know, you know. Anyway, have a look at that. Cliffs and caves, and we're going to have a crash. Steer away! Right, well, good morning, sports fans, and as you can see, we're on a fucking bike. Got to stop the swearing. Not a boat anymore, and it is another day. And I've got the Benny hat back on because of the wind. Anyway, well, I haven't edited the kayaking video yet, so I might be kayaking on the start of this video, or it might just start here. Good morning, sports fans, just in case. So, what I thought I'd do, for yous that don't know, well, I live in Hull, which is a beautiful place, really. It's not. And I thought I'd give you a little tour around some of the local hotspots, shall we say. There ain't none. But we're going to have a look at some stuff, let's say that. Let me change gear. We're going uphill a little bit. So what I thought I'd show you first is McDonald's. Have a look. No, I'm only joking. Don't eat that shit, it will kill you. I'm serious about the McDonald's stuff, you know. I used to be hella fat. Don't eat that shit if you want to live past 60. Anyway, the first thing I want to show you is the River Humber. It's there behind me. Now, there it is, look. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Hull towards video, I know nothing really about any of this stuff. So I'm just going to make it up as we go along. So there's the River Hull. Here's some facts that may or may not be true about, it's actually the River Humber. Sorry, we're already going wrong. Here's the River Humber. Here's some facts that may or may not be true about that. It's polluted. Apparently it isn't now anymore, but have a look. Make your own mind up. Greta Thunberg, she'll tell you. Here we go. Random facts about the River Humber. Right, the first fact I'm going to tell you about the River Humber is that's the most dangerous, is that even a word? Stretch of water in the UK. And it kills 74 people a week. I think they must drink from it or something. Anyway, the River Humber, there it is. It's quite long. It is dangerous. If you go in there, you will die. And it's got a bridge on it, which is massive, as we previously mentioned in another video that no one watched for some reason. I think it was a thumbnail. Anyway, next stop, Hull Fish Docks. Right, well, there you are, sports fans, have a look. Over there, 1 minute, and over here. This is what's left of the Hull's fishing industry. It's, well, it's a wasteland. And here's a random fact for you. And this one is true, because I got it from a person that worked here in the heyday, my stepdad, stunk a fish. Anyway, here we go. And what does that even mean, stepdad? What did he do, step over your real dad to get there? Bollocks. Anyway, here we go. Down there is the entrance to the dock. This used to be full of water. And then this was a bridge here, I presume. And then that, all that brown shit over there, well, that was where the trawlers went in. And apparently, well, as you can see from this and this, there's one round there where I've left my bike, and this edge bit, well, this is where they used to tie the ships up. And all this reedy stuff, have a look, reedy stuff, all down there, right around there, to that at the other side. Well, that was all full of water. And this is the fact I want to tell you. Apparently, if you wanted to get from that side, have a look, to that side, and you didn't want to walk right round, there was enough boats in here, stacked up, that you could just walk from one to the other, to the other, to the other, get to the other side. You think about that. Mental, innit? Imagine that. Anyway, next random fact. That building over there, that's Lordland, and that's the most haunted building in the world. Guaranteed there's a monster in there, or at least a baghead that's radioactive or something. Fuck going in there on your own, you'll die. Anyway, let's move on. Also, another random fact, the Titanic came in here 3 days before it set off. I don't look at the history books, they're lying to you. It was in here, And I know this because I found a piece of it, and this says Titanic on it, look, right there. So it's probably worth £1 million. This is another interesting building, and the graffiti is very interesting, as you can see. Superb artistry. Also, in an unrelated kind of event, I'm wearing flip-flops, as you can see. And if you notice there's blood coming out of me, because if you go in a thorny place with flip-flops on, it's not advisable. Don't do that. Anyway, let's move on to the next. Remember, these are probably lies, some of them anyway, so. And the reason I'm walking is because I bought some Hutchinson's tyres that have now made me worried about any terrain that isn't, you know, just smooth tarmac, because, well, I've lost all faith in tyres thanks to Hutchinson's. Cheers, mate. Well, there, look, that's a closer look at the Lordland building, and if you just look at that, tell me that shit ain't haunted. It definitely is. And I've heard stories of radioactive smackheads eating pigeons in there. Where they got the radioactiveness from, I don't fucking know, but I don't want to meet one. Anyway, this is the fact I wanted to tell you. Also, if you've seen the Candyman, the original one, I've not watched the new one, and he's in them pictures, them photographs in the background. Imagine filming in there, going home and editing this, and then the fucking Candyman's in the background. Fuck that. I'm not a fan. Anyway, I will come in here because it's quite open, and there's pigeons in here, which makes me think there's no one else in here, and I can run out that there real quick. But this is the fact I wanted to tell you. Have a look. Apparently, this is the oldest part of the dock, and it's grade 2 listed. Apparently, that's what it is. I'm gonna tell the graffiti artist that. Anyway, that's the fact. I don't know what it was. Clock tower, bell tower, fucking pumping station. Who knows? Let's move on. I'll show you the working part of the dock now. And there's a boat over here that I know a little bit about. Truthfully, I've been on it. Right, you can barely see it, but just through there, I'll try and zoom. Apparently, this camera does that. Right, here we go. It does. So that one there. Let me just zoom this out because I don't want that view. Well, that's the Arctic Corsair. Now, it was about finished, that boat, and it was on the River Hull, which we'll probably see in this video. Not the boat again, the River Hull. And they've done it up. They've made it brand new, and it's going to be a museum that you can go around. Now, I went round it when it was a museum that was falling down, so I'll be eager to see what they've done. Anyway, the Arctic Corsair. It's the last sidewinder, I think they called it. Anyway, I'm going to put Hull Fishing Industry in the title, so no doubt I'll get someone that knows more than me, and they'll tell me everything I've said is wrong. Here we go. The working part of Hull Dock coming up next. By the way, this is a cycling video. Look, there's a bike right there. And I know I was on a kayak at the start, but I'm just trying something new. Do you know what I mean? So relax, cycling, we're riding. You can hear the hub. That should be enough for you. All right. Also, if you like the kayaking, we can definitely do more. I rather enjoy it. Dangerous, but I rather enjoy it. Maybe because I'm not a great swimmer. Anyway, might be a stupid thing to do. Go in the sea on a kayak that you can't really control. Hey, I'm waffling. We're going to go to the working part. I'm going to take you up on a big bridge. I've actually got a funny anecdote. You see this corner here? Well, it's blind, isn't it? So I was coming round here once, filming away, and I got to there, crashed right into a man and his dog. He caught me mid-air, believe it or not. He really did. His dog ran off. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to get back on the bike because the glass is finished here. Right, Hull Tours by bike. We're back on the bike. Have a look. There it is. Look, so it is cycling related. And we're heading up towards the working part of Hull Dock, which I will show you in a moment. And then I'll tell you some more facts that may or may not be true. Anyway, I'm going to slow down because there's another one of these blind bends. Now, I know I said the working part next, and that is there. Look, have a look. It's a bit of a fence, but you get the idea. But there's an interesting thing here which I want to tell you about. So, have a look. All this lot here was the old wharf, and it all went quite far out there. There was all buildings and that on it. And I think it went right down there. And now that's haunted too. It's all gone. Something to do with the Hull City Council at the time wanted to just get rid of the fishing industry. They thought it was, what did they? I watched a documentary. They thought it was not what they really wanted Hull to be about. Now they all go on about it like it was a special treasure. The thick. How do these people get in power? Anyway, I'm waffling again. The working part of Hull Dock and the haunted part, there you go, look. It's definitely haunted, you know, by pirates. Right, I'm doing this for you, sports fan. I'm going to spin you. I'm going to spin you around. Are you ready? Got to climb up them stairs with this bike. It's not light, it's made out of steel. And don't say carbon, because no one wants that. You don't really want it if you've got one either. It's carbon, as we all know. Shite. Fuck's sake. What an heavy bastard. Why do I advocate for steel? I could have a carbon bike run up here on my fucking head. Anyway, let's not tell them that. Right, sports fans, well, I'm up the stairs now, and to be honest, it's probably as light as carbon that anyway, so, yeah, as we've mentioned, carbon shite. A bit out of breath. Ooh, bit winded. Right, sports fans, here we go. This is the working part of Hull Dock. Have a look. Down there's a boat. Now, it's got a flag on it, and well, I don't know what the flag is. The bike's blowing off. So, it's from Indonesia, and it carries, cargo of some type. Anyway, have a look around over there. There's loads of rubbish over that side now. I don't know what that is. Stinks anyway. There's the water there. Some kind of a craney mabob there. Anyway, there's an Indonesian fishing trawler. And if you can see them things right in the background there, they put you in that big tower. fire off into the water. 8 people a week are killed. Anyway, we're gonna go right down here. It's hella windy, so we'll see how that goes. Here we go, another random fact. Well, this dock here is famous for one thing and one thing only. It does many things, but one thing makes it famous, and this is it. It sells sand to Dubai. Believe it or not, this fish dock here sells sand to Dubai. I'll show you this Dubai sand. There it is, look. That's the sand they sell to Dubai. Hull produces the finest sand in the world, and that's why Dubai buy it. Anyway, remember, may or may not be true. We're gonna go across the lock gates. Right, while I'm up here, because I can't really bother to ride right down to there, but if you look down there, there's some like tower bits there. Well, that's Siemens, who make the wind turbines. So, that's down there, and the ferry's down there as well, which takes you to get weed. Basically, that's all anyone from Hull ever gets on that ferry for, is to go and get high on weed. Anyway, Siemens, back to Siemens, let me tell you about them. They produce wind turbines, they're massive, and they're offshore, so they put them off the shore, as you can imagine. Now, these wind turbines produce enough electricity to charge an e-bike in 3 or 4 days. So, renewable energy. From that analogy, I can imagine you know exactly how I feel about that. They're ripping us off. Anyway, there's no such thing as climate change. It's just happening. We ain't doing it. The world warms up and cools down. There you go, there's another. That's a real fact for you. Don't get me on the vaccines and stuff. You don't want to hear it. All right, well, as you can see, sports fans, have a look. We're up on the gates now. Now, I don't do well with heights, and it's higher on that side than it is on this side. Anyway, I don't do well with heights, and I'm not a great swimmer, so this is terrifying for me, but this is the way in. Down there is the, watch me hand out the way, down there is the dock. That out there is the River Humber, and then if you go down there, right out there, well, that's the North Sea. Anyway, let's move on. I ain't got a fact about this, it's just some gates that hold water in. Right, sports fans, well, there's a better look at that thing. There it is. They put one of them life rafts on the top, fire you off. Why, I don't know. I don't need training for that. If I was on a boat or an oil rig and it was on fire, I'd get in it. But other than that, I ain't fucking getting in it. So, there's that. Let's go to the Marina. Oh yeah, I did a video with a guy from the floating bike shop, and now all I can think about is buying a sailing boat. So, you don't watch YouTube, I don't think, but if you do watch this, thanks for that, and you will have many questions coming your way if I decide to buy one, because I can't even sail. Or I don't know what a boat really, I don't know what I'm looking at. Buying in the dark. Anyway, the Marina, where there's plenty of sailboats. It's brand new, never wanted one before. Now all I watch on YouTube is people sailing across the ocean. There's actually one for sale in here right now that I found on Marketplace. We could spot it. So here we are, sports fans. This is Hull Marina, where there is such boats as the Stugots from Sopranos, which I'll point out eventually. But this little ticket here, I fancy something like that. Small enough to handle, but you can, well, will it go in the ocean? Ah, Jesus, I've nearly crashed. I don't know. Let's get a better look. Well, there you go, sports fans. There's Hull's Marina. And here comes another random fact. This marina is famously known for not having a single boat in it worth more than a tenner. Nah, I'm only joking, there's some good stuff in here. Anyway, let's carry on having a walk about. Also, if I do buy a boat, I could just buy a river boat, couldn't I? And then just move it every couple of weeks and I won't have to pay whatever the ridiculous price they're charging to live in there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I actually don't know how much it is to live in there, but I'm waffling again. This is the other part of the marina, and there's more boats in there as well. So that's Hull Marina covered, I would have thought. Remember, cycling video, I am on a bike, so this is cycling tours of Hull, my hometown. Anyway, right, this one's a real fact. Here we go. That there is a light houseboat. They used to take it out into the estuary with a coronet, leave them there, no engine, no fuck all. Right, we're going to go around the other side of the marina now. Now, I do want to warn you about this. This is full of people who are either egomaniacs or hipsters, so you know what I mean. As you can probably imagine, I'm not a massive fan of society as a whole. I think they're all backwards. Right, another random fact for you. May or may not be true. Anyway, here we go. You see that boat there, that one there, and that one there? Well, if you've ever watched Sopranos, that's the Stugots 1 and the Stugots 2. And that is true. Absolutely 100% true. Right, this is the gates to the marina. You come in there, fill it with water, level it with this side, have a look down there. There's the bike, cycling video. Then you can go in there and yeah, it's time for another one of them random facts. This particular dock is the fastest opening and closing dock in the world. It can open, fill up, and open the other side in less than 1.8 seconds. Do you believe that? Right, there's my reflection, sports fans. There you go, look. And, well, I'm going to make this my final thoughts because I want to go home and have something to eat. So, here we go. This is the end of the video. The end of my face. Have a look. Get your fill. And, well, I shall see you on the next one. In a bit, dog shit.